Yeah, it's Big C, Fin Posse Podcast in the building. If you hating on the Fins, turn this up louder. I grew up on Shula, chalk lines, cold rain, Marino in the pocket, dropping dimes, pure flame. 7-2 perfect, you can't say a thing back. Undefeated on your head, living rent-free fact. Jason Taylor off the edge, helmets turning skyward. That thumping chests, every hit like a siren. You talking about rings, get your history straight. We the reason that the word perfect holds weight. It's that Fin Posse, raise, turn the volume up. Hey, slick on Miami, you'll get called out tough. From the Orange Bowl ghost to that aqua on the cuff. If you doubt these Dolphins, you ain't studied us enough. Fin Posse, raise, put respect on the name. Big C on the mic, lighting lanes in the flame. This the Fin Posse rage, yeah, we bark, we bite. If you talking about the Fins, better get that story right. Yeah, Larry C. Sonka in the mud, blood on his mouthpiece. Ricky in the backfield, making whole crowd screech. Wake off the snap count, quarterbacks daydreaming. By the time they look up, all they see is teal streaming. You forgot about Grease, you forgot about Twilly, you forgot Nat Moore. Going up, getting silly from Marino to a lineage, same jersey. We've been airing that thing out since before you that 30. Posse, raise, turn the volume up. Y'all slick from Miami, you get called out tough. From the Orange Bowl ghost to that aqua on the cuff. If you doubt these Dolphins, you ain't studied us enough. Fin Posse, raise, put respect on the name. Big C on the mic, lighting lanes in the flame. This the Fin Posse rage, yeah, we bark, we bite. If you talking about the Fins, better get that story right. This for the diehards, slamming doors on the loss. This for the old heads still quoting Shula talk. This for the kids wearing jerseys in June, waiting all year just to scream in the room. It's that Fin Posse rage, turn the volume up. From Miami, you'll get called out tough. From the Orange Bowl ghost to that aqua on the cuff. If you doubt these Dolphins, you ain't studied us enough. Fin Posse rage, put respect on the name. Big C in the crew, let them drown in the shame. It's the Fin Posse rage, yeah, we bark, we bite. Fin Posse Podcast, get the Dolphin story right. Woo! Get the Dolphin story right. Woo! Get the Dolphin story right.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands.
What up, Fin fans? Welcome to another episode of the Fin Posse Podcast. I'm your host. Lovely Wednesday morning. Good morning. I'm super excited. Not for the same reasons as a lot of the Dolphins fans are, but I'm still super excited for the season to get here. I'm super excited for training camp to start, the preseason games. I love football and everything about football, and I just can't wait to get back in the thick of things where there's actual news to report. There's actual things going on. Players are getting better. Coaches are getting better. And hopefully, this is the regime. This is the team that eventually gets us to where we want to be as a franchise, a winning franchise, no longer a mediocre team, no longer a bad football team. But hopefully Jeff Hafley, John Eric Sullivan are the guys that take us out the depths of hell and make us back into the franchise that we were back in the day, the 70s, the 80s. The Miami Dolphins were one of the best franchises in all of football. And just in the last 25, 30 years, this franchise is dramatically fell off. You could even say that we're in the same conversation as, the New York Jets, the Cleveland Browns, the the very worst franchises in the NFL. I mean, how can you say that the Miami Dolphins are really any better than those franchises at this moment? I mean, we haven't had a playoff win in, is it 25 years? Out of the four major sports, we had the longest drought. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. I never thought there'd be a day that I could say that, my football team, my team is one of the worst major sports teams in America as far as playoff success in the last 25 years. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's sickening. It's embarrassing. And I hope that we finally got the guys in the building that can make the changes necessary to get us back to where we want to be. Hopefully. So let's say our good mornings real quick before we talk about this Miami Dolphins roster for the 2026 NFL season, which I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of hopium going around this Miami Dolphins fan base. I keep hearing these outrageous win totals, and good for you. If you truly believe that the Miami Dolphins in 2026 are going to be one of the better teams in the NFL, good for you. Good for you. I'm glad that you have faith in your football team. And it's not that I don't want to have faith, but I look at this roster. I look at the situation that this franchise is in currently, and I'm just trying to keep a level head. I try to understand where we are, the team. We went into this season knowing that we were going to have to make major changes or rebuild. This was not a retool. You can't call a situation where you fire your head coach, fire your general manager, get rid of your quarterback, call that a retool. That is a full rebuild, and year one of a rebuild typically doesn't result in a playoff run. And I don't think this scenario plays out like that either, but there's a lot of fans that really truly believe that this team is good enough to win 10 games. More power to you. That does not make me a fake fan, though. I've been called like a fake fan, not I don't understand that, because I look at it with a different point of view. And, to be honest, there's a lot more evidence supporting my opinion on the matter than supporting yours. So, and this doesn't go for everyone, don't take it personal. If the shoe don't fit, don't wear it. You know what I mean? But there's a lot more opinions that support my view on this than support winning 9, 10, 11 games and making a playoff run. But it is what it is. We'll get into it. Let's say our good mornings real quick. Shauna, what up? What up? Michael K, what's up? Lombardo, good morning, good morning, good morning. You on the road, Lombardo? Where are you going to? Got to get to a name out of the intro. It makes OT less fire. I get it. I get it. I gotta get. That's the one thing that I don't know how to do, so I rely on other people to do that job for me. So I'm on their time frame. You know what I mean? Miami going to sweep the Bills. Miller, I don't know if you really truly believe that, but I don't know what evidence you have to believe. You got to have some kind of evidence to support your claims. I don't know what's up. Good day from Castle Rock. Castle Rock, what's up? What's up? The Dolphins are a poverty. I mean, I can't argue with that. We are on the same level as a Cleveland Brown. Like, how can you say that we're any better than Cleveland when, look at what Cleveland's done the last 25 years and look what we've done. I mean, they're comparable. So you can't sit here and say we're, you talk about the Cleveland Browns and you talk about one of the worst franchises in the NFL. And how are the Miami Dolphins any better than them over the last 25 years. They really haven't been. So it's sad. It's sad what this franchise has fallen to. It's sad that we've been bad for so long. I never thought that this would be a thing, but it's become a thing. But there's opportunity. This is an opportunity to get us out of that situation, to get us back moving in the right direction. And I do think Jeff Hafley and John Eric Sullivan, even though I wasn't big on the hirings, I think they've sounded super impressive so far. I think they've done a pretty good job with, as far as doing what they could with what they were handed with. They were over a bad franchise that didn't have salary cap space, that had a lot of bad contracts on the books, a roster that didn't have a super amount of talent, and the talent that we did have, a lot of those guys were overpaid players. So you got to respect the job that John Erickson and Jeff Hafley have done so far, and I hope they can continue to build on that. I have every move that they've made, obviously, but so far so good. I think they've done a decent job, and I think this team is at that. I could see them being very successful in the next few years. So I mean, that's all you can ask for. All you can ask for is some hope, and I have some hope. I have some hope. I have some faith that that they can get it turned around, and I'm feeling positive towards the future. I'm feeling like the future could be bright with what we have right now. No supplemental draft for Sorsby per NFL. Again, I don't think that the Miami Dolphins were going to target him. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. You got Malik Willis, you got Quinn Ewers. I mean, why add another guy to the room? You know what I mean? I could understand if Quinn Ewers performed bad in OTAs, or if Malik performed bad and they wanted to get somebody else in, but they both performed pretty well. So I don't think it made sense for Sorsby to be brought in by the Miami Dolphins, regardless if there's a supplemental draft or not. Miller says, only undefeated season. Nobody Rose got that. This is the year we make the playoffs. Again, Miller, don't just say we're going to make the playoffs. Give me some reasoning behind it. I have to believe that if you looked at this roster and take away the Miami Dolphins name from it, if this roster was the Jets roster or the Patriots roster or the Bills roster, I don't believe this fan base would feel the same way. I don't believe they'd look at this roster if it was the Bills roster and be like, yeah, that's a playoff team. If this was the Jets roster, I don't think that they would look at this roster and be like, yeah, that's a scary team. That's a playoff team. I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. If you take away the name and the logo, how many of you Dolphin fans would look at this roster and be fearful of it, or think it was a really good roster built up, a well-rounded roster? Marcos, good morning. Broncos did it with $70 million dead cap and a roster of 1-year rentals, rookie quarterback in a first year of rebuild. Malik better than rookie Bo Nix. And despite that extra dead cap, this roster is on par with them. First off, they had a Super Bowl winning head coach that's done this before. You guys are not taking that into account. Jeff Hafley has never been a head coach of an NFL team. And you're going to compare him with Sean Payton. Miami Dolphins don't have a player on this roster that is as good as Patrick Surtain. Broncos roster was as bad as the Miami Dolphins roster. You're mistaken. You're mistaken. You are mistaken. We did not have a worse roster last year. I don't know how you say last year we had a worse roster. How did we have a worse roster? I just don't get that. Again, we get back into this every day because you guys a lot of you blow my mind with the things that you say. How is this roster better than last year's? Besides the quarterback position. I'll give you the quarterback position. Tua was horrible last year. But how is the roster better? No rebuild's the same. No rebuild is the same. No two seasons are the same. What's it have to do with players on the team demanding to be traded or not demanding to be traded? Well, what's that have to? Yes, we were able to keep some good foundational pieces. I love that we were able to sign Achan to an extension. I love that we were able to sign Brewer to an extension. Hopefully, we can sign Jordan Brooks to an extension. I love those moves. Those were good moves. But 4 players does not make up a team. That's not good enough in the NFL. Let's be real. How many players on this roster are legit? And we're going to take a look at the depth chart here in a second. But how many of these players on this roster are legit starting players regardless of what team they're on? Not because they're Miami Dolphins and we're in a very bad position right now, but if you take this roster and you combine it with another roster, how many of the Dolphins players are legit starters on another team? How really? The number one quarterback free agent. Again, he's started a handful of games in his career. I like Malik Willis, and I think he can do fabulous things, but let's not jump out the window with who he is. You don't have an idea of who he is over a 17-game season. We don't know. We don't know. We can try to assume. We can hope. We can pray. We can take a look at someone's, fundamentals and the skill set that they have, but that does not always translate into a successful NFL career. Again, bat out of hell, how many of those 13 players in the draft are really going to be? How many of those 13 players are going to get a second contract with the Miami Dolphins? You're counting draft picks before you're counting the egg before it hatches. Those 13 draft picks, you have no idea how they're going to perform the first year of their NFL career. You're assuming. Better line, better defense. This defense is not better than last year. This defense is not better than last year. Better wide receivers. How do you say that? How do you say better wide receivers? You're making up lies. You're lying. You're lying, my friend. Better defense. Who replaces Bradley Chubb? Who replaces Rasul Douglas, Jack Jones, Fitzpatrick? Who replaces those guys? Jalen Phillips for a good portion of the year. Who replaces those guys? Christian, I don't believe that it takes half the season to know if this team is better. This team, again, we have a lack of talent on this team. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. This is a typical stage of a rebuild. And if people would just come to terms with that, oh, okay, so 2019 we were having a rebuild and we won more games than expected. Cool. Okay. Okay. Just because something happens once in a lifetime doesn't make it going to happen every time. Just because last rebuild, you know what I mean? And again, how'd that rebuild end up turning out? Oh, we won a bunch more games than we were supposed to in 2019. How did the rebuild turn out? How did winning all those games turn out for us? They're not winning 8 games. They're not winning 8 games. I'm going based upon facts though. I'm going based upon we have a bunch of below average NFL players on this roster. Around 45 of them. Sealer was on the team last year. Sealer's not replacing Chubb if he was on the team last year. Again, Chris Johnson and Marshall will show out. You're again, you have no basis to say that. You have no basis to say that Chris Johnson and Jason Marshall are going to be better. And you're hoping and praying that Kenneth Grant and Jordan Phillips are better than what they were last year. And I hope that they are too. And I assume that they will be somewhat better. But are they that much better? Are they that much better? Are they going to take, if they take a giant leap forward? Yeah, they could be. If everybody takes a giant leap forward and the rookies play like, starters from Jump Street, yeah, I'll give it to you. But again, the chances of all those things happening are slim to none. They're slim to none. Last time we relied on our rookies to come in and play a pivotal role from day one, it bit us right in the ass. And that was the 2024 season. We were hoping that Kenneth Grant could come in day one and replace Calais Campbell. We were hoping that, right? We were hoping that Jonah Savaianaya could come in and help fix the offensive line day one. And it didn't turn out that way, right? We relied on these guys to be high level starters day one, and it just didn't happen. You're right, and I had a reason to be concerned. Razul Douglas was coming off a really bad year, but Razul Douglas played good football for us last year. Jack Jones played pretty good football for us. And although I think Chris Johnson and Jason Marshall are talented and can eventually be very good starters for us, I don't have faith that year one for Chris Johnson is just going to be a walk in the park. I don't think Jason Marshall necessarily is going to take this humongous jump year two. If I see improvement, I'm happy, but I don't expect to see a Pro Bowl talent at the corner position after 1 year or in a rookie year. Again, you guys are putting these guys in a position that unless they come out and they perform at this elite level, they're going to be failures. And I don't think that's fair to the team, and I don't think it's fair to the players. I don't think it's fair to Jeff Hafley. You're putting unrealistic expectations on a year one rebuild. If Jeff Hafley felt like this team was really, really a team that could compete, you don't think they would have added a receiver better than Jalen Rager? You don't think they would have been trying to add pieces better than what they have been? We got a roster full of guys who are almost there. No, we got a roster full of guys that are never going to get there. That have been in the league for a decent amount of time and have never produced to the level that they should have. You got a bunch of 1 year minimum contract guys that have never lived up to the hype. Willis has 155 attempts, great stats. How is that unproven sample size? Because it's only 3 games, my friend. And he was knocked out one of those games. He was knocked out one of those games. Just listen, if the Miami Dolphins are a bad team this year, that doesn't make the season a failure. And I hope that you guys realize that. I hope you guys don't have your hopes and your dreams and whether you think this season's successful based upon whether if we make the playoffs or not. Have a little bit of patience. Give the rebuild a chance to rebuild. You're right, bad out of hell. There's no reason to believe Willis cannot do what he has already done. I believe 100% you're correct on that. I believe Willis can perform well for a 3-game stint 100%. Now, I question whether he can remain healthy for a full 17-game season. He's never did that. I don't know how he's going to perform for a full 17-game season when coaches have a bunch of film to watch on him. Now I have faith that Malik Willis can be a very good quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. But again, you just never know. Until they walk that walk, you just don't know. Give it some time. This is a rebuild. I know you guys are eager for a winner. I know you guys are hungry for a winner. I am too. I'm hungry for it too. I want it just as bad as anybody else. But I refuse to allow myself to get disappointed. You know what I mean? You guys talk about us going to the playoffs so much. I want to believe that shit too. I want to believe it too. There's times that I'm sitting there talking because I hear it so much. I start playing with my own mind. I start saying, you know what? Yeah, this happens. And then I got to stop myself because it's not realistic. Nothing goes completely right for the Miami Dolphins. You guys have been fans for a long time, just like I have. How many times has everything gone exactly the way we needed to go? How many times has everybody that needed to stay healthy stayed healthy? How many times? How many times has the underdog overperformed for the Miami Dolphins and turned into a superstar? How many times? Have we found the right head coach? How many? Real talk, there's no way we can't give these guys if they provide a 5 or 6 win season. This franchise keeps trying its horses on the posts of nobody's until proven. I don't think we need 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons. I think next year is the year they have all these expectations. It gives us another draft and an opportunity to go out and sign free agents because we'll have some cap room. It's a second of the coaching regime where the players get a chance to learn the offense. The defensive players should know the defense by that time. You got to remember, all these guys are learning new systems too. Learning new systems. There's so many new pieces to the puzzle. Just have a little patience. Again, if Jeff Hafley and John Eric Sullivan thought that we were really going to be competitive, if we had a shot at making the play, don't you have piece better than Jalen Rager? Don't they be trying? Sorry, my internet's breaking up. I see. Yeah, 4 likes. That's crazy. Like I know I've talked to more than 4 people. Like, see, you gotta help me out. If I'm not getting likes, I might as well just do pre-recorded videos and not interact. Again, hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Uh, Again, the super chats. I interact with everybody. I don't like to have a conversation with me to answer your questions. Other channels, you gotta every comment that you make that you want addressed, you gotta send a super chat. You don't gotta do that here. How many questions have I answered just for you today, Miller? Or talked had how many things have we went just today, Miller? 10, 15, 20. You know how much that would cost on a different shot on a different site? You know what I mean? So don't forget to look out for me. That's all I add. I don't want this channel and to talk to you if you guys send me a super chat. I don't want it to be like that. Just try to look out for me. You know what I mean? I appreciate it. I'm trying to get the channel to grow, but we gotta at least hit the like button. At least gotta hit the like buttons. I'm gonna pull this depth chart up, and this is an early depth chart from ESPN, and we're gonna go over it. And I want to hear where you rank each position. I want to grade. All right, let's see. You guys hear me? We all good? All right. And then I got some stuff around the league, some opinions about the Miami Dolphins around the league that we're going to look at. Quarterback, we got Malik Willis as the starter, Quinn Ewers as the backup, Cam Miller third, Mark Gronkowski fourth. To me, this quarterback room is very unproven. Malik Willis, we all know what he did in Green Bay. We know what he did in Tennessee too. I don't hold Tennessee against him. He was a young quarterback. They switched coaches. They ended up going in a different direction at quarterback very early. He wasn't really given a fair shot. He gets to Green Bay, performs well in limited opportunities. He gets a contract with his Green Bay. John Eric Sullivan obviously was in Green Bay. Jeff Hafley was in Green Bay. They liked what they seen. They signed Malik Willis to a decent contract, a 3-year deal, 2-year guaranteed contract. I think Malik Willis has a legit skill set that can make him a success in the NFL. I think it can make him. He's got a skill set where he could be a top 10 dual threat quarterback in this league. He's just got to be able to put it all together for a 17-game season. Quinn Ewers was a highly touted college prospect. He didn't have the greatest final college season, inconsistencies and injuries. He ended up falling to the 5th round of the draft. He was one of the top prospects coming out. Like, he was supposed to be a first round pick. Ends up being a 5th, 6th, 7th round pick. I can't remember right off the top of my head. But Quinn Ewers was given a couple opportunities to start last year, performed decently, in my opinion. Had a pretty good set of OTAs this offseason. I think Quinn Ewers can at least be a very good backup quarterback in this league. As far as the quarterback position, I'd give the Dolphins, and this is a higher grade than I probably should give it because It's such an unknown. It's such an unknown what we really truly have. But I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give the Dolphins quarterback room a B plus. I'm gonna give the Dolphins quarterback room a B plus. I think it has a potential, A minus potential. I can't go that high initially because again the sample size is really small. But I think Malik Willis can be a top 10 quarterback. I think Quinn Ewers can be a very good backup quarterback that can come in and win us games if Malik gets hurt. Uh, so I like the quarterback room. I think it's improved over last year. Uh, I liked Tua Tagovailoa, but Tua wasn't the same quarterback last year. And I think the Miami Dolphins did the right thing moving on. And I think we're better overall for it. So I give it a B plus. What's your grades on the quarterback room? He was a seventh round, Glenn. Okay, okay. I give it a B plus. What do you guys rank it at? I Dolman says B. All right, let's move on to the running back position. Running back, we got Devon Achane, who had a breakout year last year, was one of the most explosive backs in all of football. He's just absolutely phenomenal. You got Jalen Wright as the second running back. He struggled this offseason. You got Ollie Gordon as the third running back. He had a tremendous college football season prior to his final season. Uh, was the was the number one running back in college football, and then for whatever they had bad quarterback play, bad offensive line plays his final year, and didn't perform up to the level he did the year before that. I think Ali Gordon has some upside. Jalen Wright's been a complete disappointment since being here. We traded up to get Jalen Wright. Devon Achane, again, phenomenal, phenomenal player. I'm glad that we were able to re-sign him, give him a contract extension. But overall, I can't give this running back room. I think Devon Achane's he's an A player. He's an A player. What he can do in the passing game, his explosiveness, his game breaking ability. I give him an A. But the rest of the running back room, I can't give higher than a C. And so to me, the running back room is a B. It's a B. I can't give it higher than a B. If Ali Gordon can produce a little bit more this year, or if Jalen Wright can finally, figure something out, then I can adjust it. But I can't give the running back room higher than a B simply because, and they're getting that high because of Devon Achane. Devon Achane is absolutely phenomenal. I love that we were able to bring him back. But, with Jalen Wright and Ali Gordon, I think they hurt us. If Devon Achane goes down for any amount of time this year, if he's got to miss any amount of time, we're gonna suffer and we're gonna struggle. We're gonna struggle. The wide receiver room, man, this is where it gets bad for me. Wide receiver, we got Malik Washington, Jalen Tolbert, and Tutu Atwell as the starters. Backups, we got Caleb Douglas, Chris Bell, Kevin Coleman Jr., Theo Weiss Jr., Taj Washington, Jalen Rager, Terrence Marshall Jr., AJ Henning, and Donovan McCulley. To me, this wide receiver room is probably the worst in the NFL. Probably the worst in the NFL. Now you got Chris Bell, who was a first round prospect, but he's injured. God knows when he'll be back. And when he does come back, he's not going to be the same player he was before the injury. Usually that takes 2 years. Caleb Douglas, we took him in the third round, but let's be real. He was a fifth, sixth round prospect. They overdrafted Caleb Douglas. Malik Washington, he's played well in spurts, but he's not, to me, he's no better than he's a fourth wide receiver on any other team. Jalen Tolbert, a third, fourth wide receiver on another team. Tutu Atwell is a speed guy. He's a situational guy. He's a gimmick guy. Tutu Atwell is the fourth best option on any other team in the NFL. Now, I do like Kevin Coleman Jr., the rookie. I think he's got potential, maybe as a slot guy. Caleb Douglas got the tools to be a good wide receiver. We'll see if he ever gets to put it together and, can do something. Theo Weiss showed glimpses in training camp last year. But again, to me, this wide receiver room is bad. It's bad. I give this wide receiver room, and I'll be kind because we don't know what we have in Chris Bell and Caleb Douglas completely. I'll give him a D minus. I'll give him a D minus, but I really want to give him an F. I really want to give him an F. I want to give this wide receiver room an F. That's not true, Glenn. That's not true. Just because one team likes you in the third round doesn't mean you're a third round guy. That's not true. That's not true. Yeah, you were drafted in the third round, but that does not mean that. People are wrong. People are wrong. I had someone in fantasy football take Cam Newton with the first overall pick. The first overall pick when he played for the Patriots. Mind you, when he played for the Patriots, is Cam Newton a first-round fantasy quarterback? No. Just because someone was stupid enough to take him in the first round does not mean he was a first-round fantasy quarterback. Probably, I don't see how you think this wide receiver is better than last year. Jalen Waddle is by far better than any wide receiver on this group. This wide receiver room is a D minus, 100%. And I'm being nice. I'm being nice. Let's move on to tight ends. You got Greg Dulcich. I like Greg Dulcich. Do I think he's an elite tight end? No, but I think he can block. I think he can catch. He impressed me last year as a receiver. I like Greg Dulcich. Lil Kazmarek, I think we overdrafted him. He's a phenomenal blocker. His receiving skills, he's not much of a receiver. Does he got hands? Yeah, he can catch the ball, but that's not what he's going to be used for primarily. Yes, will he catch some touchdown passes? Yes, will he catch some defenses off guard and make some big plays in the passing game? Probably, but nothing that's going to be a needle mover. That's not what he was brought in here to do. He is going to be primarily a blocking tight end. He was the best blocking tight end in college football. You got the French kid, Seydou, whatever you say his name is, and then you got Ben Sims. Ben Sims performed decently in OTAs, but I can't give this tight end room anything better than a C plus. I think Greg Dulcich is a B minus wide tight end. I think Will Kresmerick, if you go strictly as a blocking tight end, I give him a B plus, A minus. But as an overall prospect, I'd go C plus. And then the other guys, I don't think they're anything more than C minuses right now. So I'll give this tight end room a C. I'll give the tight end room a C plus. I'll give the tight end room a C plus. Douglas's blocking ability. I listen. The wide receiver blocking ability. Come on. First off, he's light in the ass. He's not overly strong. How good of a blocker is he really? And last time I checked, wide receivers are on the field to make plays more so than they are the block. I care about you catching the balls and making plays with the ball in your hand. Tight end group, I'm giving them a C plus. So all our receivers are going to drop every pass. Come on, I didn't say that they're going to drop every pass. I think our wide receivers are going to struggle to get open. I think they will struggle to catch the ball at times. Listen, Sean, I'm not saying wide receiving blocking is not important to the running game. I'm not saying that at all. But at the same time, you got to be able to catch the ball. You got to be able to create separation. You got to be able to make plays as a receiver. And I don't believe this guy that was blocking, lawyers and this, that, and the third is going to come in the NFL and be a dominant blocker as a rookie. He's light in the ass. He isn't super big. You know what I mean? You act like the guy's kind of lanky. He's kind of lanky. He's thin. He's got a thin build. You think he's going to get in there and bully? All right, Glenn, and we'll see how good he is. We'll see how good he is, Glenn. I hope he does. Listen, again, I'm not hoping bad for the kid. I'm just telling you what I see. I read up on these players. I do my due diligence when it comes to this. Again, you know how many pre-draft you know scenario books that I looked at, how many draft analytics books I looked at, how many of these guys that went out and watched Caleb Douglas and scouted him. These guys scouted him fully over his whole college career. And they said he was a 5th, 6th round talent. You know what I mean? All right, get it. All right. You go bully. You go bully some of them NFL players. Again, the running game's fine, but what happens when we're losing games? He's not just going to be blocking defensive backs, and these defensive backs are strong too. Everybody these guys are strong in the NFL. We're talking about how good he is as a blocker. Let's talk about how good he is as a receiver. So we took a good blocking tight end in the third round too, or wide receiver. So so we took a good blocking tight end and a good blocking receiver in the third round. Come on, I care about him catching them passes. Cat, you wouldn't have been blocking nobody in the NFL, brother. Sorry. Let's move on to left tackle. Patrick Paul had a tremendous jump from year one to year two. I expect another jump this year. I'll give a full grade for the offensive line and then a grade per position. Patrick Paul, I'm going to give an A. Uh, I think he is a franchise left tackle. You know, he still needs to improve some. Still needs to improve some, but I think he's he's on his way to being a franchise left tackle. We're gonna probably end up paying him a lot of money at some point. But I'll give him a grade at the left tackle position. Caden Proctor, the rookie out of Alabama. Listen, this kid at left guard, if this was a grade at right tackle, I'd probably go a B minus, a C plus B minus, just simply because he's not used to that position. Uh, he's always been a left tackle. Switching to the opposite side of the field is different. Is different. I know everybody said, "Oh, he can play every position on the line." Just because you can play every position on the line doesn't mean you're going to necessarily excel at every position on the line. Moving from left tackle to right tackle is extremely difficult for a lot of guys. But since he is playing guard, I think Proctor can dominate from week one. I think Caden Proctor can dominate week one. I'm going to give him an A minus at left guard. I think with his size, his agility, I think he'll be able to dominate at the guard position, especially playing next to Patrick Paul. I'm going to give Caden Proctor an A minus. So I'm giving Patrick Paul an A minus. I'm giving Caden Proctor an A minus also. Yeah, I played football. You weren't. Listen, the difference. Let's not go there. Like I'm not trying to dump on you, bro. But the difference between you playing high school ball and playing pro ball is completely different. You ain't getting out there competing with these professional athletes. Let's be real. I bench press 300 pounds right now. Right now. Aaron Brewer, center. We just gave him a new contract. Aaron Brewer, since coming here from the Tennessee Titans, has been one of the best centers in all of football. I give him an A. Uh, I think overall he's probably your best offensive lineman. Uh, you go from left tackle to the center position. That's a dominant offensive line. That left side is dominant. I think we're gonna have great success running the football to that side of the field. Uh, I think for once the Miami Dolphins offensive line has an opportunity to be maybe the overall strength of this football team. I give Aaron Brewer A, Caden Proctor A minus, Patrick Paul A minus. I bench press 300. You ain't blocking me. It's not all about leverage. It's not just all about leverage. If I can bench you with one arm, you can't stop me. Just stop. Just stop. Stop. I got videos of me benching, like one arm benching 100-pound dumbbells. And you gonna stop me? Like, stop it. Just stop. Right guard, Jonas Vayanaya. Listen, Jonah was the worst rated guard last year. They played him out of position. That's what I'm talking about. Just because it's the same position, you move him to the opposite side of the field. It's completely different. It's completely different where your hands line up, where your feet, your footwork is completely different. Jonah was bad last year. Do I think Jonah comes out and is a all-star player this year? I don't, but I do have hope that moving him back to the right side, and this being the second year in the league, I hope there is some improvement. I'm going to give Jonah a C- until he proves to me that he can be better. I think he's going to be better than last year. How much better? That's yet to be seen. That's yet to be seen. So I'm going to give Jonah a C-. And then Austin Jackson. If Austin Jackson could stay healthy, I'd probably give him a B-. But the fact that Austin hasn't been able to stay on the field and him not remaining healthy this year could dramatically change up this offensive line and how I feel about this offensive line. I can't give him anything better than a C- also. Availability is the best ability, and he hasn't been available for us in recent years. Austin Jackson, if healthy, is a B- player, which is more than good enough. Which is more than good enough. But the fact that he can't stay on the field, I got to give him a C-. I got to give him a C-. Overall, if Austin Jackson stays healthy, Jonah improves somewhat. Aaron Brewer, Caden Proctor, Patrick Paul, all at least A- players. I would give this offensive line an overall grade of a B+. A B+. With the potential of being an A- a group. I think this unit has the potential to be a top 5 to top 10 unit. Do they live up to that potential? Do they remain healthy? That's yet to be seen, but they have the potential to be a top 5, top 10 unit in this league. And yes, that will help the run game. Yes, that will help the pass game. All those things will help. All those things help. But a wide receiver still got to create separation. A wide receiver still got to catch the ball. A wide receiver still got to do the things that wide receivers got to do. These wide receivers that don't have elite talent are going against some of the best players in the NFL. Lots of times they're going to be overmatched. And I think they will struggle. Yeah, Malik Willis's ability to escape the pocket, extend plays will help the wide receiver group also. But when teams know that we have to pass the football, I think that's when we're going to struggle. When we no longer can run the football because the game clock and the game situation doesn't allow for it, that's when this team is really going to struggle. Stop saying if healthy. Listen, some players have injury. They consistently are injured and some players aren't. How is that not fair? Yes, any player can get injured at any time, but some players are more injury prone than others. Like, why do we got to nitpick everything that's said? Like, you don't know the game of football. Like, is Austin Jackson not more injury prone than other players? I mean, I just don't. Sometimes I just don't. I just don't get it. It's like everything I say has to be torn into a million pieces. Like I'm so completely wrong. But am I wrong for saying that Austin Jackson stays hurt? Are some players not more injury prone than others? Glenn, I didn't say it does mean he's going to get hurt this year, but if you had money to bet, if you're hurt 4 out of 5 years, are you guessing that you're going to get hurt again? Chances are. Chances are, right? Again, tearing apart every single little thing that I say is absolutely crazy to me. Calling it injury prone player, and I'm getting static for it. Like calling a spade is I get static for it. I wouldn't no bad out of hell. I wouldn't go that far. I think the offensive line is better. I think the quarterback position's better. I'd say receiver is considerably worse. I would say running back maybe the same, tight end worse. But is getting your foot stopped on and broken, injury prone, or just bad luck? Listen, if you're it doesn't matter how it happens. If it happens, it happens. You can call it what you want. You can call it injury prone. You can call it bad luck. I just know that he consistently misses games for the Miami Dolphins. That's all. That's what I can say. And bad out of hell, I'm not saying that the offense isn't possibly better. First, bad out of hell. There's more to a team than offense, right? That's only half the team. That's only a half the team. The defense is where this team's really going to hurt. Again, a rebuild is when you change head coaches, general manager, quarterback. You change all those things. But Miller, is it wrong of me to say that he's injury prone? Am I wrong for that? I just don't understand why everybody tries to shoot holes in everything I say. Like I feel like if I say Malik Willis is black, what? No, he's not. What? Jeez, I just, you know what I mean? Like, again, this is my opinion. If you don't agree with it, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. We all got opinions. We all got opinions. I try to base mine upon facts that I see that I read upon, that I study upon. I try to base it upon that. You can base it upon whatever you like to base your opinion on. That's cool. I'm not making it because people don't even hit the like button. I mean, people don't want to support the channel. People want to come in and complain, I'm not saying it means he misses games this year, Glenn. I did not say that not once. But he has a better chance than most to miss games. If I was a betting man, I'm going to bet that he probably misses some games. I hope that he doesn't. I hope that he doesn't. 30th ranked defense allowing those points a game. Hard to be worse than that, but it's possible. It's possible. We had a much easier schedule. We had a much easier schedule last year. We are not better than last year. We're not better than last year. Let's go over the defense real quick. We go a little bit faster. Let's go because I got a doctor's appointment here in a little bit. Oh, all right. Let's go. We'll go with the whole defensive line. We got Chop Robinson, Robert Burrell Jr. at the edge, Kenneth Grant, Jordan Phillips at the left defensive tackle. Right defensive tackle, you got Zach Sealer, Matthew Butler. Right defensive end, Josh Uche, David Jobo, Cameron Good. Listen, I think defensive tackle, we're going to be decent at. Kenneth Grant, Zach Sealer, Jordan Phillips, Zeke Biggers. I think all those guys have the potential to be really good players for us. If Kenneth Grant can turn into that first round draft pick that we drafted, what was it, 13th, 14th overall, Jordan Phillips, to me, he was always the best player that we took at the defensive tackle position last year. I expect a big year from him. Pass rush leaves something to be desired. Chop Robinson, he's got to be able to set the edge. He's got to be able to set the edge against the run. Hopefully, he's getting coached up this offseason. Hopefully, he can reach his potential and he doesn't have to get pulled out the game on running plays, and he can get more of an opportunity to be a difference maker. I would like to see them put Zach Sealer at the right defensive end and, play Jordan Phillips and Kenneth Grant inside, but that's just me. Linebacker, another strength of this football team, in my opinion. You got Jordan Brooks. Hopefully he remains a Dolphin. You got Jacob Rodriguez, Terrell Dotson, Ronnie Harrison Jr., Willie Gay Jr., Trey Moore. I like this linebacker room. Jordan Brooks, all pro. Terrell Dotson, he's a difference maker to me. Willie Gay, hopefully he can get on the field more this year. Willie Gay just brings a different intensity to the football team. Jacob Rodriguez, one of the best college football players last year. Probably the future for the Miami Dolphins in the middle. I like him. I like that pick. Trey Moore, I like him also. Kyle Lewis. I think we got a really strong linebacker room. Hopefully, like I said, Jordan Brooks stays with the Dolphins. I give this linebacker room probably a B plus, A minus. Cornerback, I got Chris Johnson. They got Storm Duck, but it's going to be Chris Johnson, Juju Brents, Jason Marshall Jr., in my opinion, are going to be the three corners. Juju Brent's got a lot of potential, but again, here goes that word again, injury prone. And I know just because he's missed games every year of his NFL career doesn't mean he's going to miss some this year, but a spade is a spade sometimes. Chris Johnson, I think, has the potential to be a shutdown corner in this league, but making that transition to the NFL, it isn't the easiest thing. So I expect him to struggle to a point. I think he'll have his moments where he's very good, but I think he'll have his moments where he doesn't look the greatest. So overall, there's not a whole lot of depth at the corner position. I probably give this corner room a C plus. I probably give this corner room a C plus. Jason Marshall Jr. I think has got potential. Chris Johnson's got potential. Juju Brent's got potential. But again, these are all young or injury prone players. I just don't think they're there yet. But I think they got the potential to be good in years to come. I just don't think they're in a position to be, elite players this year. Safety, Dante Trader Jr.'s looked phenomenal this offseason. You got Lewis Moore, Lonnie Johnson Jr. has been a disappointment, Zane Anderson, He might end up being the other starting safety. You got Michael Taff, Major Burns. They just added Dante Trader. I think he has a chance to really become a good player this season. But the other position is up in the air, and I don't like who we got back there. So if it was strictly just Dante Trader basing off that, I'd give it a B. But since we got to grade it with two safeties, I'm going to give it a C. I'm going to give it a C. I'm going to give it a C. Again, Glenn, you're right. I don't know exactly what we got, but if you look at years in, year out, you have a pretty good idea. Last year, D plus. I wouldn't say last year was a D plus. You had Juju Brents. You had Razul Douglas, who was he was probably a B plus, and you had Jack Jones, who was at least a C plus. So I'd give last year's cornerback room probably a B minus. Last year's safety room, I'd give it a C plus, B minus. Let's take a look at what they say about the Dolphins roster around the league. Do. NFL.com guess the Dolphins roster ranked 30th. One pick after another, I kept thinking Miami was putting in quality work over the weekend. Normally, I'd question the wisdom of stockpiling 13 selections in the draft that few teams were excited about, but I think the Dolphins were finding treasure where only other teams saw trash. And you really can't gripe about how much of what they did. At the very least, the Finns had laid a foundation that helped fill out a roster that has been bloodletting for some time now. And the Caden Proctor debate, were there better options, has merit, but I think more than half of Miami's picks have a good chance to raise this team's floor. A really nice start to the John Eric Sullivan, Jeff Hafley area, I think. That's NFL.com, what they said after the draft. Let's go here to Yahoo. I think this is Yahoo. What the? Hold on. All right. What the? It's not the one I clicked on. All right, here we go. Yahoo got Miami Dolphins roster at 32nd. Jeff Heffley and John Eller Sullivan knew that they were getting into when they signed up with the Miami Dolphins. Immediately, they wanted everyone else to understand that it was going to get worse before it got better. When new head coaches and general managers are introduced to the media, they usually are unrelenting stream of optimism, and there was some of that in late January from Hafley and Sullivan, the new coach and GM of the Dolphins. But they also tried to temper expectations, at least for the 2026 season. You don't find that often in introductory media conferences. Hafley admitted it's going to take time. Sullivan spoke of a challenging journey ahead, though with a sunny conclusion. It's not going to be easy road, but I think the journey is well worth get going on. And if we do it together, we will achieve together, he said. When he gets to the end of this thing and we host that trophy, we'll realize that we started at the bottom. We fought our way to the top, and it'll be one of the more special moments of all of our lives. I have no doubt that we will get there. Starting at the bottom is accurate for the Dolphins team. Miami was in such bad salary cap shape that after cleaning house, it was paying more to players not on the roster than players currently on the team. A staggering $179.2 million is allotted to dead cap hits, according to Spot Track. That is 58% of the adjusted salary cap, and next year the Dolphins will still be on the books for $56.7 million in dead cap hits for Tua Tagovailoa and Bradley Chubb. Miami traded safety Minkah Fitzpatrick and Jalen Waddle, arguably the best two players who remained on the roster. Among the Dolphins' free agents, 15 signed elsewhere, and expensive players such as Tyreek Hill and James Daniels were still available after the NFL draft. Every outside free agent the Dolphins added except one was signed to a one-year deal, and the team signed only one outside free agent who will make more than $1.49 million, which is practically nothing in the NFL. The term year zero has been used by college football writer Bill Connelly, referred to a new coach who takes over a total and complete rebuild and is given the grace to survive a brutal season in which a win or two with some progress shown by the end is the only reasonable expectation. This year, zero for Hafley and Sullivan. They understood the assignment. They're in for a rough season, but with the hopes of better days down the road. At least there's one reason to watch. The lone free agent the Dolphins splurged on was quarterback Malik Willis. Miami cut Tua Tagovailoa 2 years into what turned out to be a devastating 4-year, $212.4 million contract extension. Tagovailoa was never the same player after his latest concussion in week 2 of the 2024 season. The Dolphins are carrying an NFL record dead cap hit on Tagovailoa of $99.2 million spread over 2 years. For him to not be their quarterback anymore, Hafley and Sullivan were familiar with Willis from their time with the Green Bay Packers and signed him to a 3-year, $67.5 million deal. It's far from a guarantee that Willis will work out. He has 6 career starts, but it was reasonable gamble for the best quarterback on the free agent market. The problem for Willis is that other than running back Devon Achane, who's singled out only by the Dolphins as someone they refuse to trade, there's nothing around him. The receiver room is stunningly thin. The offensive line could be one of the worst in the NFL again. I disagree with that. Miami spent a good amount on Willis, but in the very hard to evaluate given the lack of help he'll have. But it's something there would be no reason to be excited for this Dolphins season otherwise. This is what the bottom looks like. There's a lot of work to be done. Don't say half-feeling stuff Sullivan didn't warn you. Off-season grade, the Dolphins need to be graded on a curve. New GM, John Eric Sullivan, wasn't responsible for the mess he inherited. He had to clean everything from the salary cap to the culture standpoints. Trading away Jalen Waddle and Minkah Fitzpatrick and cutting Tyreek Hill and Bradley Chubb couldn't have been fun, but the Dolphins didn't have much choice. Finding enough cap space to sign Willis was impressive. There were surprising reports that Willis would get more than $30 million per season, a narrative likely being pushed by his agent. So to get him for 3 years, $67.5 million seemed reasonable. It's risky, but that's fine for a team in a complete rebuild. The 3 highest paid free agents to join Miami other than Willis were kicker Zane Gonzalez, punter Bradley Pinion, and safety Lonnie Johnson, each at $1.49 million. The draft was fine, with Miami getting big offensive tackle Caden Proctor at number 12, quarterback Chris Johnson, number 27, and linebacker Jacob Rodriguez in the second round. Proctor could start his career at guard, while Austin Jackson and Patrick Paul manned the tackle spots. Miami took shots on receivers Caleb Douglas and Chris Bell, who's coming off a torn ACL, and tight end Will Kresmerick in the third round. It's hard to be too critical of Miami when a new regime practically started 179.2 million in the hole on the salary cap due to dead cap hits. Grade C. That's just one of many. You can go and you can, there's numerous ones like that. This team is not in the greatest of situations. Now, I think we did improve in some areas. I think we did. But again, it's a rebuild. It takes another year. I think next year all the optimism in the world will be warranted. I think if we had one more off season under our belts, that we have the potential to be really good. But people need to temper their expectations this year. Again, will we look better in some positions? Yeah. Will the running game hopefully look somewhat improved because the offensive line's better? Yes. But we're still going to struggle at points on offense. The run game's not going to be perfect. Devon Achane broke a lot of plays that he probably shouldn't have last year. That's not guaranteed he does the same thing this year. We don't know what Bobby Slowick's play calling is going to look like. There's a lot of things that we don't know about this football team. There's a lot of moving pieces that are going to take time for them to start gelling. I hope for the best. I hope all these young players that we drafted pan out. I hope Caleb Douglas turns into an all-plural receiver. I really do. I hope Chris Bell turns into a Pro Bowler. I hope that Wills Kresmerick turns into, Tony Gonzalez. I hope for all these things. But I got to be realistic with myself. And I know that as a Dolphins fan, things don't typically go the way that I want them to go. They typically don't go the way I want them to go. So if you have high hopes for this football team, cool. Just don't consider it a failure if we don't achieve the goals that you have in front of us. That's all I ask. If you want to believe this team's going to the playoffs, by all means. Don't crucify me because I see things differently. We all have opinions. I base mine upon the information that I garner from different places. I get my information from a lot of different sources, from a lot of different, avenues. And that's how I base my opinion. Don't crucify me or try to pick apart every little thing I say because it doesn't agree with yours. I want this team to win just as much as any one of you want this team to win. You know what I mean? I want this team to win just as much as anybody else does. And I think we're on the right path. But right there, they're telling you that even what general manager and the head coach were saying at the beginning of the season, when they first signed on here, they said it's going to be a long road. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fast. It's not going to be fast. Exactly, Christian. Watch the players grow. Watch them get better. Watch them improve from week 1 to week 17. Let's hope that they stay healthy. Let's hope that, by the end of the season, Caleb Douglas proves that he can be a legit weapon for us. Maybe he starts out, he starts out struggling a little bit. And that's normal. I'm not going to crucify the guy because he starts out struggling. If he drops a pass week 1 or runs a bad route week 1 or, messes up week 1, I'm not going to crucify the guy. I'm just going to hope by week 17 I see something completely different. Again, I love this team. I want them to win just as much as anybody else. But I just try to be realistic with my expectations. And I feel like a lot of teams are going to feel like, they're gonna badmouth the team. They're gonna They're going to take shots at this team. They're going to see this team as a disappointment when they can't live up to the lofty expectations people have on them. How can you not be disappointed if you're expecting playoffs and a team wins 6 games? How can you not be disappointed? And Cap, I don't disagree. I don't disagree that I think we beat the Raiders. I think we do beat the Raiders. Yeah, bat out of hell, that's exactly what you're doing. You're pretending to have a crystal ball because you're projecting these players to perform better than players of the past. You're doing the exact same thing. You're doing the exact same thing. You're projecting these players. You're pretending you have a crystal ball and you know for a fact these players are going to perform better than what they did last year. That were better than last year, and you don't know that, just like nobody knows. But you can have an educated guess, right? You can have an educated guess. But I'm going to get out of here. I got to get to the doctor. I will see you all Friday. I'm tired of the arguing, though. Let me know what's up with the fantasy football again. It's getting down the crunch time. I got to get the numbers in, whoever's playing. Make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget the super chats. Again, I don't want to change how I do things on this channel, but I got to continue to try to grow. I got to try to make it useful and meaningful for me. I can't continue to pay for software and pay for things if I can't continue to come out of my pocket for the things and have it go the way they are going. Also, I got a new wrestling channel. I don't know if you guys mess with the professional wrestling. A lot of people don't, and that's cool. But I got a new professional wrestling channel that's going to be coming out soon. Keep an eye on that if you're a fan of the WWE. I hope that you come join that channel and talk a little WWF or WWE with me. But I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I will see y'all later. Fins up. Peace.
Yeah. It's Big C. Fin Posse Podcast in the building. If you hating on the Fins, turn this up louder. I grew up on Shula. Chalk lines, cold rain, Marino in the pocket, dropping dimes, pure flame. 7-2 perfect, you can't say a thing back. Undefeated on your head, living rent-free fact. Jason Taylor off the edge, helmets turning skyward. That thumping chest, every hit like a siren. You talking about rings, get your history straight. We the reason that the word perfect holds weight. It's that Fin Posse. Rage, turn the volume up. Hey, slick on Miami, you'll get called out tough. From the orange boat ghost to that aqua on the cuff. If you doubt these Dolphins, you ain't studied us enough. Fin Posse, rage, put respect on the name. Big C on the mic, lighting lanes in the flame. This the Fin Posse rage, yeah, we bark, we bite. If you talking about the Fins, better get that story right. Yeah, Larry C. Sunker in the mud, blood on his mouthpiece. Ricky in the backfield, making whole crowd screech. Wake off the snap count, quarterbacks daydreaming. By the time they look up, all they see is tears streaming. You forgot about Grease, you forgot about Twilly, you forgot Nat Moore going up, getting silly from Marino to a lineage, same jersey. We've been airing that thing out since before you that 30. Posse, rage, turn the volume up. Y'all slick on Miami, you get called out tough. From the orange boat ghost to that aqua on the cuff. If you doubt these Dolphins, you ain't studied us enough. Fin Posse, rage, put respect on the name. Big C on the mic, lighting lanes in the flame. This the Fin Posse rage, yeah, we bark, we bite. If you talking about the Fins, better get the story right. This for the diehards, slamming doors on the loss. This for the old heads still quoting Shula talk. This for the kids wearing jerseys in June, waiting all year just to scream in the room. It's that Fin Posse rage, turn the volume up. On Miami, you'll get called out tough. From the orange boat ghost to that aqua on the cuff. If you doubt these Dolphins, you ain't studied us enough. Fin Posse rage, put respect on the name. Big C in the crew, let them drown in the shame. It's the Fin Posse rage, yeah, we bark, we bite. Fin Posse Podcast, get the Dolphin story right. Woo!